Today I'm going to show you how I make a paper model of a sculpture. The first problem, of course, is coming up with the idea of what to make. That's hard to explain, so I'm skipping over that. We'll just start with this design. You can see there are lots of loops on the outside, and maybe you can also see small circular openings on the inside. But what's especially interesting to me is that everything is made up from 60 identical flat components, so I can someday make this from steel or plywood. But today we'll just use paper. This is the part shape. Everything joins together with these 7 slots, so in theory it just slides together like a giant construction kit. I'm going to lay out 8 parts on each sheet of paper. This makes them about 6 inches long. I'll need to cut out 8 of these sheets to have the 60 pieces I need and a few spares. The loops in the design look something like waves, so they'll look good in this acid-free blue cardstock. I could print onto the paper and cut the parts by hand, but that would be a lot of scissor work for me. So instead, I'm using a robotic paper cutter. It's a handy device which takes my drawing and controls a small knife that cuts along the lines. My little cutter can't go through heavy cardboard, but for paper that isn't too thick, it's a great time saver. The paper is carried on the sticky backing sheet. After cutting, you pull off the parts. Usually I have to separate a few spots where the knife skipped. Then I'll make sure the notches are cut all the way through. Sometimes they aren't quite perfect, and I can open them with a small knife. It's much easier to do this when the pieces are separate than when it's half assembled later. So now I have 64 pieces ready. Each has 7 slots. The little inside slots go together like this. And the slot on this arm goes into the back slot like this. The 2 slots at this end join one into the next in a 3-way cycle, leaving a small circular opening in the center. And at the other end, there are 2 slots very close together, which also make a 3-way connection. This joint is small and tight, so it takes some bending to put it together, but then it holds really well. In the end, all the pieces connect to each other using all their slots. To begin, I'll make the easy innermost 3-way cycles. I'm putting a little dot of glue on the slots to keep them from falling apart. This is my basic module. The complete sculpture can be understood as 20 of these modules. Here's how 2 modules go together, joining the next lowest slot. Again, I'm using just a little glue. Soon 5 of the modules close in a cycle to make a pentagonal opening. It gets trickier now to add more modules. They want to tangle up, and you have to weave things around each other. But if you can visualize the form, you can get everything into place. This continues on for some time. You just have to be systematic. Initially it was pretty flexible, but as I go along, it gets more and more solid. After giving that a minute for the glue to dry, I'll continue with the same idea, still using little dots of glue to keep the slots together. Here's the first complete 3-fold joint. I don't need to glue these. They lock together securely. So now it's half done, and I can tell I'm going to love it. It's exactly what I envisioned. I need to bend the pieces I'm inserting to get them around each other. But once they're correctly in place, they're always planar. So now with 5 modules to go, it's really solid. The weaving is trickier, but everything fits perfectly. For the last module, I'm sliding in 3 pieces individually, then joining them together on the inside. Now I can see it from different points of view and see all the symmetry. I think it's pretty cool. I really like the swirling effect of the 5-way openings. You have to study it for some time to fully appreciate the structure, to see how the 20 holes on the inside each lie under an outer 3-way joint, and to see how flat pieces connect one 3-way joint to another one 2 hops away. Of course, this paper model is just practice. Stay tuned for a future video when I try to make the same design from 3-foot-long cardboard pieces, so the whole thing should be about 6 feet in diameter. I'm ready.